Hello there, Thack from Thack Ironworks. Welcome to my channel. Today we are doing an exciting project. We are making a fireplace crane for my Hobbit hole fireplace. So, I've got my template here on a whiteboard, which is going to screw up Eric's light balance. Anyway, so we would be starting this back at the fireplace right now, but we're at the end of February and we've had massive snowfalls in the last couple of weeks, and my Hobbit hole, my whole backyard is basically a snowdrift. The Hobbit hole is all buried in, so I can't really get easy access to it. We're going to lug our camera and everything out there. But I have done some templating prior to that to get what I need to do, and by the end of this video I'm sure we'll be back at the fireplace and you will see how this all comes together. For the moment, you'll trust me and see this is what I'm doing. Essentially what we're going to be doing is a tenon at the bottom here, which will fit in the two arms which are already fixed into the fireplace and fixed into the masonry there with a 5/8 hole. That tenon will be coming up and we'll have an arching piece of steel that comes out to the center of the fireplace where a hook is, and then we'll be able to hang our cauldron right above the water, or right above the fire, and be able to swing it out to get access to it to make soup or what have you, potatoes, things like that. So without further ado, let us begin forging. All right, so I've got a piece of 1.5 inch square bar, and I want to do a tenon on the end, and I'm just setting this on the cutoff hardy and notching in using that. Now I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, try to get it nice and square. All right, so I was looking for my set hammer, which is a hammer that does this very step here. I could not find that. Also realize I don't have a monkey tool for a 5/8 tenon, and I don't have a power hammer tenoning tool, all of which would make this job a little less labor intensive, but I'm doing this very old school, crudely. So I've got, I don't know if you call this a set punch. I don't know if you can even see this here, but the cross section of this decays off here. I've got my square sharp edge here and decays off, and I'm able to come in with that edge there to try to get a nice square edge. The tenon, I want it square right up to the base as possible. So a little labor intensive for what it is. And if I was doing a bunch of these, then of course I would make proper tooling for that. Since I'm just doing a one-off here, I can muddle my way through the process here. We're getting there.
Especially now that they're like taking away the mask restrictions potentially very soon. The vaccine passes and stuff like that. Like, I think it's good. But for someone in my position.
Okay, so my Pritchell hole is about 3/4 inch, which is well oversized, but since I don't have a monkey tool, I'm just going to use it. And I think I will have to then just do some good old-fashioned grinding on my pin to get it to size, because it'll be a little bit oversized. Something like that. So definitely oversized, but I'm not going to bother forging anymore. I will just grind that to size there. Looking good though. Let me just knock the corners off this, and then I'm gonna flip this over and start forging out the length. This thing has to more than double in length now. All right, so there we've got it forged to length, and I've got my hook in place there now. All I have to do is start forming the radius to have this coming from upright and curving out over. The reason I'm doing an arched arm on this is that I wanted to be able to clear the andirons that I will be putting in there, and you'll see that as we lay it out. But anyway, next scene. And we're back. A couple weeks have passed, I think. It's been awkward times, but anyway, we're back to this, and you can see I have done my curvature, and I also cleaned up my 5/8 so it actually fit into the piece coming out of the fireplace wall there. So that now that all pivots and works just fine. Now, the tricky thing is to get the second arm and pin in place. I'm going to use this piece of 1.5 by 1/4, a wrap around, and then I'm going to wrap it around a pin so it actually sits thusly. So here's my second hinge pivot point, and this is what we're trying to tie into. So kind of an awkward little thing. I need to be able to clear that, have this piece has to wrap around and then wrap around this pin here, which I think I'll make removable just to give me a little bit of play. And I want to forge weld the entire thing. So a very short span, which has to be fairly perfect, and also a bend in it and an eye. Awkward, awkward, awkward. So let's see how this goes. Just doing a taper and a slight scarf here. I'm going to forge weld the eye. I haven't done one like this in forever, so see how this goes. Okay, so I went to the MIG and I just put a tack on either side there just to hold this in place. Yeah. So I'll just flux this up now and we'll get the whole thing up to welding heat and try to hammer it together and see what happens. Just a little decorative element, since this is such a utilitarian almost. I thought it might be nice to just do a little bit of decorative stuff last minute. Okay, now I need to get the bend. All right, so there it is. We'll let that cool off and then I will drill that out. In the meantime, maybe I'll upset a piece of 5/8 to make my own little pin there. As I said, I don't want to have a fixed pin on this. I want a removable pin. I'm anticipating fitting issues and I may have to do some tweaking. This may not line up in my center now that I've done all this quite invasive style of weld here to try to get that welded on and then bent and then at the right angle. So a lot that could go wrong, and that probably tells me that something has gone slightly wrong. So let's get that all cleaned up and then we will go to the fireplace. Okay, moment of truth. Is this going to work? Brought a hammer of some sort. Okay, a little bit of a binding issue, but let's just see. Get out of the way here. Yeah, a little snug in there. I think I need to, when I make my pin, loosen off. I think I'm canted a little bit there, but there you go. Shit, didn't bring a tape measure. I wanted to see if I'm in my center here. I can't tell. I don't know if you can get a perspective here sitting in the fireplace that this is more or less centered. I think it's working. So there it is, pretty cool. That's step number one. One of the reasons I did this arch was to follow this. Another reason was to clear the andirons, which I'm doing some sort of dragon head andirons, which will be sitting in there, and I wanted this to be able to clear all that. So that will be an upcoming video in the series. Also, I'm going to be doing a video on a trammel. This is just one I happen to have. That's something used for positioning your pot or cauldron at the correct height. So this is a cool traditional sort of project that has moving parts, and it looks cool and it is cool. So that will be an upcoming thing. Then following that, I am going to do an actual cauldron out of bronze. That's the game plan there, and that is kind of a experiment for me doing a one-piece helmet bowl out of bronze. So, you know, one thing leads to another. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm pretty happy with this. Just a little fine-tuning on the pin there, and I've got myself a working fireplace crane. Now, if this friggin' winter would just stop and we could get into spring, I could start hanging out here and having some fires again. So that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed that. Love to hear in your comments what you think of this, what the bill about the build and upcoming builds, all that sort of thing. So yeah, blah blah blah. You know what to do with the Patreon and the likes and all that stuff. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys next time. Back out. See ya!